I want you to take a look at this pedal board and tell me if you notice anything. Now, to all the class clowns out there who are gonna be like, oh, well, I noticed that you're a worship guitarist, or I noticed 20 reverb pedals. Ha 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 ha. That joke is definitely not getting old. No, I'm actually not talking about what's on the pedal board, but what it's missing. Oh, I got it. There's no clon. No, not that either. This pedal board doesn't have a volume pedal. Volume pedals are pretty self-explanatory devices. They allow you to control the volume of your guitar signal with your foot. So all the way down is off, all the way up is on, and you can move it anywhere in between to get those sort of in-between volumes. It's not a glamorous pedal, although I will say this FlipVol by Sonicake is quite nice. But the fact that it's a pedal that controls volume is one of the reasons why I opted out of putting one on my pedal board 9 years ago. But I've noticed lately that it's pretty rare to find a traditional pedal board user or even a modeler user without a volume pedal, which has me wondering, do you need a volume pedal? In my early years of playing, the volume pedal was a staple on my pedal board and probably one of the first 3 or 4 pedals that I ever bought. My first exposure to the world of pedals actually came from serving on the high school ministry worship team at church. Back when I auditioned, I didn't know anything about tone or anything like that. I just knew I took my Les Paul and I plugged it straight into my Vox Valvetronics amp, and I thought it was pretty sweet. And you know, in its own way, it kind of was pretty sweet. But anyway, my band leader takes me on as his Padawan, and he's showing me the ways of the Force and tells me I need to get a volume pedal for swells. You know, something like this. My swells definitely didn't sound that good back in high school, but you live and you learn. I think I honestly played swells probably twice in those early years of playing, mainly because I didn't understand what swells were meant to do. I think I just thought swells were something I could play so that it wouldn't look like I was just standing there doing nothing. And I'm also pretty sure that I was whipping the volume pedal up and down a little too fast. It wasn't that bad, but you get the idea. Now I understand the musical purpose of swells, and while sometimes I still think they feel like playing something for the sake of playing something, when done the right way, they can be highly effective. Now sure, you could do volume swells with the volume knob on your guitar, but there's a certain coordination to playing and turning the knob rhythmically that I find challenging. And if you're trying to do something like a slide swell with the volume knob, like, just forget about it. Now I'm sure someone is super coordinated and can do it, but that's just not me. So having a volume pedal can make something like swells with the slide not only more convenient, but controlled. So me, not knowing much about volume pedals, just slapped one of these at the beginning of my chain and called it a day. I'm pretty sure my pedal board went something like tuner, volume pedal, wah pedal, overdrive, and then so on. Now, there isn't a right or wrong way to do it, but that was definitely the wrong way. Conventional wisdom would tell you to put the volume pedal after your drive section in the pedal chain. That's because if you put it there, no matter what volume you're at, you're always at the same level of distortion. If you put the volume pedal in front of the drive section, what you'll notice is as you lower the volume, you're actually also lowering the amount of distortion. There are some cases where you may want to be able to lower the volume of your guitar before it hits the drive section. A really popular sound is to max out a fuzz pedal and then lower the volume knob on your guitar to get that sort of unique, almost overdriven sound. You can effectively do the same thing by placing the volume pedal in front of your fuzz and then adjusting your volume this way. That way you can get the same effect without having to touch the knobs on your guitar. main reason I put my volume pedal before my overdrives is because I really wanted the volume pedal on this side of the pedal board. I didn't realize that you could just get a longer cable or a custom cut cable, and then you could put any pedal anywhere you want on your board, but you already knew that. When it comes to placement in the chain, I just go with what sounds best to your ear and how you plan to use the volume pedal. For me in my house, it goes after the drive section. Today's volume pedal is a new breed. Seems like more and more of them double as volume and expression pedals. The Sonicake FlipVol is a passive volume and expression pedal, and all that means is that it doesn't need any power to operate. Expression pedals are cool because they provide us with even more functionality past typical volume control. So if we wanted to use this FlipVol as an expression pedal, all we have to do is grab a TRS cable and plug it into the output. Then we're gonna take the other end of that TRS cable and plug it into the expression port on our modeler, pedal, whatever it is we're trying to control with it. Now, this is important, but make sure you're using a TRS cable, not a TS cable or a normal instrument cable. That's not gonna work. What's cool about this is in addition to being able to control volume, we can assign the pedal to different parameters we might also want control over. An obvious use would be for something like a wah effect. Now our FlipVol is providing us with complete control over our wah effect. So we could leave it in a singular position if we like the sound of it. Can actually move it up and down to get that signature wah sound. There's lots of options. Another cool one to control with expression is pitch. So we're gonna essentially create something kind of like a whammy pedal. And of course, you could assign your expression pedal to something like the mix control of a reverb. That way you have complete control to dial in the perfect amount of reverb or even just emphasize emotion live. Are volume pedals worth it? You know, they definitely can be. I think for me, back when I was putting my board together, I realized that I wasn't doing too much swell work, and I was honestly just using the auto swell feature on the Mobius to do that sort of thing, so I left it off. However, if I was on a gig where I was doing a lot of swells, ambient textures, or slide work, then I would 100% add a volume pedal to my board. What I love about the Sonicake FlipVol is that it does both volume and expression. It's small enough that I can just throw it in my quad cortex case and be covered in case I need to do a bunch of different swells, or maybe I need to use it for expression and create a wah effect or a whammy effect and things like that. The Sonicake FlipVol features a full metal housing and it's a full-size volume pedal. The trend nowadays seems to be towards mini volume pedals, kind of like their Vexpress pedal. Both are cool. The thing I like about a full-size volume pedal is that it feels more substantial and sturdy under my foot, and it's a little easier to control. So if control is more important to you, probably go with the full size. If you're looking for a space saver and you just want some utility volume type stuff, go with the mini. If you're looking for a volume pedal at a reasonable price, or maybe looking to swap out your current volume pedal for one that can be a volume and expression pedal, the Sonicake FlipVol is a great option. You can actually use my code Justin10 to get an additional 10% off your order. It is an affiliate code, so I do make a small commission off those purchases, but that can actually be a cool way for you to get gear that you want and to also help support the channel. Obviously, no pressure. Be sure to leave a like on the video before you head out and subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll catch you next time.